It's 1 p.m. and we're going to call the September 10th meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee to order. First order of business is the adoption of the agenda, and I have a quick, before that, we've got a quick adjustment to make to the agenda. Item 4.1, the deputation has been withdrawn. So I would need a motion that the agenda for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 Planning Advisory Committee meeting be adopted as circulated with the following deletion: deputation item 4.1, Lisa Klutz. Mover, Mayor Elmsley, seconded by Member Barkwell. Any discussion? All in favor? That carries. Thank you. Is there any declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we will move right into item 3, public meeting reports. As required under the Planning Act, a public meeting is being held prior to the committee making a recommendation on this application. All recommendations that come out of this afternoon will be forwarded to the next regular council meeting on September the 23rd. The purpose of this public hearing is to allow the committee to gather information on the applications before us, to hear those wishing to make submissions on applications, and to allow the committee to ask questions of the applicants, interested parties, and staff. Everyone speaking today is requested to state their name for the public record, and in the interest of time, the committee respectfully asks that you keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes. When the appropriate time comes after the planner makes their presentation, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to speak to any public meeting items on the agenda. At that point, please either unmute yourself and turn on your video, or come to the podium and press the speak button to activate the microphone. And with that, we will move into item 3.1, Plan 2025-045, an application to amend the Township of Eldon zoning bylaw 94-14 at 24915 Simcoe Street, Woodville, Kia. And the planner, you can go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Yep, we can hear you. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Julio Sarti Caldeira, and I am an urban planner from Dillon Consulting Limited, here on behalf of the City of Kawartha Lakes Development Services Division. Thank you to the applicant for being here today, and to staff, the chair, and the rest of the Planning Advisory Committee for considering the zoning bylaw amendment application to prohibit future residential development on portions of the subject lands. I would like to note that notice for this application was originally given to each the landowner, agencies, and departments in accordance with matters of the Planning Act. This is the first circulation and appearance at PAC for this application. The subject lands, as shown on screen, are located at 24915 Simcoe Street in the former Township of Eldon. The subject lands encompass a total area of approximately 42 hectares, with frontage on Simcoe Street. The existing uses on these lands include residential and agricultural. Surrounding uses include residential, agricultural, and natural features. The subject lands are zoned agricultural and environmental protection on Schedule A of the Township of Eldon, zoning bylaw 94-14, and designated prime agricultural on Schedule A4 of the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan. As per condition of consent for severance of a surplus from dwelling under file number D03-2024-008, the applicant seeks to rezone the retained lands, shown in green, to prohibit residential uses. As per Appendix D of the Planning Advisory Committee report, the proposed zoning bylaw amendment seeks to amend Schedule A of the Township of Eldon zoning bylaw 94-14. The proposed severed lot will be rezoned to the Rural Residential Type 1 zone, shown as RR1 on the screen, and the retained agricultural lands will be rezoned to a site-specific Agricultural Exception 35 zone, shown as A1-35. The Environmental Protection Zone, labeled as EP, will remain unchanged. In terms of policy conformity, the zoning bylaw amendment is supported in the Provincial Planning Statement 2024 and the official plan. At this time, this fulfills the statutory public meeting requirement as set out in the Planning Act. Relevant departments and agencies were circulated on the application as noted in the report, and planning staff are of the opinion that the zoning bylaw amendment is appropriate. Accordingly, staff respectfully recommend that the zoning bylaw amendment respecting application D06-2025-010 and the form attached in Appendix D to report Plan 2025-045 be approved. I would also like to inform that the applicant and the owner are here to assist in any questions anyone may have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation. Committee, any questions of the planner at this time? Okay, seeing none. Does the applicant, owner, or their agent wish to speak to the application?
Good afternoon. My name is Bob Clark. I'm the agent and the planner for the applicant, and Alison Kia, the owner, is also with us. I've had an opportunity to review the planning report, and I certainly don't have any comments. It appears to be quite supportive of the application, but we are here to answer any questions that you or the members of the public may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Committee, any questions of Mr. Clark at this time? Everybody's good? Great, thank you. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak to the application? Any members of the public wishing to speak to the application? Calling a third and final time. Anyone from the public wishing to speak to the application? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Committee, what is your recommendation to council? Member O'Reilly?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move that the recommendation be received for information, the zoning bylaw amendment respecting application D06-2025-010, substantially in the form attached to Appendix D to report planning 2025-045 be approved and adopted by council, that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the documents required for the approval of this application.
Seconder for the motion, Councillor Warren. Any discussion? Calling the question, all in favor? And that carries. Thank you. And with that, this public meeting held under the Planning Act is now adjourned. We will move into, we have no deputations, correspondence, I believe we have none, Joel. We're good there. So we will be moving into regular and returned reports. Item 6.1, Plan 2025-046, red line revision to plan of subdivision, Sugarwood Phase 3, Highway 35 and Colburn Street, Lindsay.
Mark could be here for this. You had a good hard come forward on one.
Mr. Dunlop.
Hello, sorry. Please bear with me while I get set up.
Your motion, you want to council.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Robert, you may need to mute your computer and your speakers. Just we're getting a bit of feedback with you guys being beside each other.
Thank you. My name is Ben Dunlop, and I'm a planner with Dillon Consultant Limited, speaking on behalf of the City of Kawartha Lakes Development Services Division. Thank you to staff, the chair, and the rest of the Planning Advisory Committee for considering this revision to a plan of subdivision for our application to a plan 16T18501 that was draft approved December 10th, 2019 under file number D05-2018-004. The proposed revision to the plan of subdivision would permit 24 detached dwellings and 112 townhouse dwellings, as opposed to the draft approved 83 detached dwellings. The subject lands, as shown on the screen, are located within the draft approved Sugarwood subdivision referred to as Plan 16T 18501. They are generally on the north side of Colborne Street West, just east of Highway 35 in the former township of Ops, which is now part of the city of Kawartha Lakes. The subject lands comprise 4 blocks, which encompass a total area of 3.4 hectares. The subject lands are currently vacant, and the surrounding land uses include residential areas to the north, east, south, and west, with some valley lands, parks, and open spaces to the south. The subdivision agreements for phases 1 and 2 were registered on August 10th, 2021 and July 19th, 2022, respectively. Council granted draft approval to Plan of Subdivision 16T 18501 in December of 2019 in accordance with the policies of the Provincial Policy Statement 2014, which were in effect at the time. The subject lands are now subject to a ministerial zoning order under Ontario Regulation 355-20, which was made on July 3rd, 2020 and came into effect on July 8th, 2020. Being subject to a MZO, consistency with the now in effect Provincial Planning Statement 2024 is not required. Conformity with the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan is also not required. However, the proposed revision to the Plan of Subdivision conforms with the Urban Settlement Area Land Use Designations policies in the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan, as well as the Residential Land Use Designation policies in the Lindsay Secondary Plan. The proposed residential uses and revised subdivision layout comply with the relevant provisions of the MZO. According to the MZO, the permitted uses and zoning requirements for the subject lands are set out in the Residential 3 and Residential Multiple 1 zones with some additional exceptions as per Town of Lindsay Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw 2000-75. The image on screen, Appendix C, shows the proposed revision to the detailed design for Plan 16T 18501. The proposal envisions 24 detached and 112 townhouse dwellings, replacing the originally proposed 83 detached dwellings within Phase 3. Being a revision to a plan of subdivision, there is no statutory requirement for a public meeting for this application. However, it is coming back for an amendment through council, and the updated plan has been circulated to the relevant agencies for comment. I'd like to note that the members of the public who submitted comments on the previous phases of the subdivision were notified of the application during the circulation period. Lastly, staff is awaiting updates to the technical studies as requested by Development Engineering, including the TIS and servicing and stormwater reports. All comments from planning staff will need to be addressed before clearance can be issued for Phase 3, in addition to the required documents and clearance of conditions. Staff respectfully recommend the revision to the Plan 16T 18501 respecting application D05-2018-004 in the form attached as Appendix C for Report Plan 2025-045 be approved. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation, Mr. Dunlop. Committee, any questions? Councillor Warren?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. I was just reading the report and under the Kawartha Lakes Natural Heritage Peer Reviewer. So it said no environmental impact study was submitted as part of the development application. Is that because it's an MZO? No. I was just wondering why.
Thank you. Through the chair, that study wasn't submitted with the package we received for the revision.
So there was an original one, though. Thank you.
Councillor Richardson?
Thank you, and through you, Chair. Maybe more of an observation on this. Obviously, the move for a change with the substitution is showing that the market's more open to the townhouse market currently. Maybe that's not really a question, more of an observation. Sorry. But
thank you, through the chair. Thank you for the comment.
Member Nugent?
Being new to this committee, I just want to ask that I guess the increase of about 50 plus more units will not overburden the existing or the planned infrastructure that is in place or will be in place, because we'll have 50 plus more families within this development alone. Will it affect infrastructure, I guess, services? Like, are these things considered as part of the application?
Thank you, through the chair. As per DevEng's comments on this application, they are asking for updates to the servicing studies that will reflect the additional density proposed.
Yeah, thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. So the draft plan approval for Craft contemplated X amount of units. So there's multiple phases following this one. So the slight increase in capacity and allocation on this phase can be offset in the future phases by a slight reduction. So we are asking for an update to the servicing study as part of the detailed engineering design, but through the subsequent phases, we will be able to confirm capacity and make sure the draft plan aligns with the allocation.
Just as a follow-up to that, I believe the subdivision is, I guess, connected to the municipal services. So how do we as a municipality have to accommodate? Do we collect more development fee to increase services, or to, I don't know, improve services to serve these additional units, or how does that work?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So the developer will be responsible to install the infrastructure for the additional units in here. As part of the building permits, there's also DCs that are paid that funds development projects for the city. It's already draft plan approved for the so many units, so the city's already accounted for those units in the water treatment plant and the water wastewater treatment plant. So it's up to the developer now to install the extra infrastructure to support those 50 some units in that phase.
Any further questions? If there's none, do we have a recommendation? Mayor Elmsley?
I'll move that the report plan 2025-46 be received, that a red line revision to plan of subdivision respecting application DO5 2018-004 substantially in the form attached as Appendix C to report plan 2025-046 excuse me, be approved and adopted by council, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the documents required by the approval of this application.
Seconder for the motion, Councillor Richardson. Any discussion? Calling the question, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. That brings us to item 6.2, Plan 2025-044, an application to amend the Township of Verulam zoning bylaw 6-87 at 96 Kawartha Lakes Road 30, Fenland Falls, Fisher. Mr. Wilson?
Good afternoon, folks. Bear with me while I share my screen here. Hi, folks. My name is Robert Wilson. I'm a planner from Dillon Consulting Limited here on behalf of the City of Kawartha Lakes Development Services Division. I'd like to thank staff, the chair, and the rest of the Planning Advisory Committee for considering this zoning bylaw amendment to permit the use of a contractor's yard. The purpose of this application is to amend the Township of Verulam zoning bylaw number 6-87 for a portion of the subject lands. The proposed amendment would rezone this portion from general rural A1 to a site-specific general rural A1-24 zone. I'd like to note that notice for this application was originally given to each the landowner, agencies, and departments in accordance with matters of the Planning Act. This application was originally presented to PAC on March 5th, 2025 through Plan 2025-018. Subject lands, as shown on screen, are located at 96 County Road 30, legally known as Part Lot 16, Concession 1, Township of Verulam in the City of Kawartha Lakes. Surrounding uses are predominantly agricultural, with rural residential to the east and the south. The yellow square on the screen identifies the existing barn and the area of the subject land to be rezoned to permit the use of a contractor's yard. The subject lands encompass a total area of approximately 38.2 hectares or 139.29 acres, with approximately 683.5 meters of frontage on 96 County Road 30 and approximately 318 meters on Hickory Beach Road. The land to be rezoned is approximately 2 hectares in size and contains an existing barn. No new development is contemplated as part of this zoning bylaw amendment. Existing uses on these lands include agricultural crops and a contractor's yard. The subject land is designated as rural and environmental protection in Schedule A5 and significant woodlands in Schedule B5 in the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan. The goals and objectives of the rural designation focus on promoting agricultural land, protecting agricultural land from non-agricultural and non-compatible uses, and supporting farming operations as an important part of the economy. The rural designation permits a wide variety of uses. Further, Section 16.3 of the official plan outlines the policies for uses within the rural designation, stating where farming uses exist, new uses that are compatible with and not hindering the agricultural use will be permitted. This policy provides general support for the new uses on farm properties, provided they do not conflict with existing agricultural uses. The applicant has demonstrated through a planning justification report and a tenant farmer declaration form that the property is being actively farmed and that the proposed contractor's yard will not hinder the active agricultural uses on site. Policies for environmental protection seek to prevent development or site alteration on lands which are subject to environmental hazards such as flooding or erosion. They identify a number of uses in which agricultural uses are permitted. The areas subject to rezoning, as shown previously on the aerial map, are outside of the environmental protection zone. The scope natural heritage assessment submitted by the applicant indicates that the proposed introduction of a contractor's yard on the land subject to rezoning provides a sufficient buffer from the identified natural heritage features, including the significant woodlot identified in Schedule B5. Additionally, Kawartha Lakes Conservation has reviewed the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and has identified no concerns. Staff are of the opinion that the proposed zoning bylaw amendment conforms with the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan, specifically Section 3 regarding the environment, Section 16 regarding the rural designation, and Section 17 regarding the environmental protection designation. The subject lands are zoned general rural, or A1, in Schedule A of the Township of Verulam zoning bylaw 6-87. I'd like to note here that there is a discrepancy between the schedule contained within the PAC presentation provided and the schedule attached to the PAC report. The correct schedule is shown on screen for your review and is reflected in the provided PAC report. The lands subject to rezoning outlined on the slide are approximately 2 hectares in size, consist of a barn with a gross floor area of 1,121 square meters, used to store materials and equipment for an excavation company, Fisher Excavating and Grading. The lot and the location of the existing barn, where the owner's machinery and material for the excavation business are stored, comply with all minimum lot area, frontage, and setback requirements applicable to the subject land. No variances from these standards are required, and no additional development or structures are proposed through the zoning bylaw amendment. The rezoning of the portion of the subject lands from A1 to A1 exception zone 24 meets the objectives of the zoning bylaw by confining the use of the contractor's yard to a portion of these lands and preventing the encroachment of the contractor's yards onto the existing agricultural land base. This approach ensures the proposed contractor's yards remains limited in scale and will not create adverse impacts on the continued agricultural use of the subject property or the adjacent lands. The proposal is therefore compatible with the overall intent of the Township of Verulam zoning bylaw and the regulations applicable to the A1 zone. As per Appendix D of the Planning Advisory Committee Report Plan 2025-044, the proposed zoning bylaw amendment seeks to amend Section 19.3 of the bylaw number 6-87 of the Township of Verulam to state, notwithstanding Section 19.1, land zoned A1-24 may also be used for a contractor's yard as defined within Section 4 of this bylaw. The amendment would permit the use of a contractor's yard for the area of the site's specific zone, as shown on screen, to store equipment and materials associated with fisher excavating and grading. In terms of policy conformity, the zoning bylaw amendment is supported in the provincial planning statement and the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan. As part of the review, relevant department and agencies were circulated on the application, and as noted in the report, all comments received have been addressed. Planning staff are of the opinion that the zoning bylaw amendment is appropriate, as no new construction or development is proposed, permits an additional use on the site supporting economic development. It preserves and does not hinder the agricultural land use, preserves natural heritage, and maintains compatibility with neighboring land uses. Accordingly, staff respectfully recommend that the zoning bylaw amendment respecting application D06-2025003 in the form attached in Appendix D to Report Plan 2025-044 be approved. Staff are here to assist in the answering of any questions anyone may have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee, any questions for Mr. Wilson at this time? Councillor Warren?
I'll just move the recommendation that Report Plan 2025-044 application to amend the Township of Verulam zoning bylaw 687 at 96 Kawartha Lakes Road 30, Fenland Falls, Fisher, be received, that a zoning bylaw amendment respecting application D06-2025-003 substantially in the form attached as Appendix D to Report Plan 2025-44 be approved and adopted by council, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the documents required by the approval of this application.
Seconder, Member O'Reilly. Any discussion? Calling the question, all in favor? That carries. Thank you. That brings us to item 6.3, Plan 2025-043, an application to amend the Township of Emily zoning bylaw 1996-30 at 1023 Kings Wharf Road, Bobcaygeon, Martin. Go ahead.
Hello. Can you see my screen there?
We can.
Perfect. My name is Timothy Gouveia. I'm an urban planner from Dillon Consulting Limited here on behalf of the City of Kawartha Lakes Development Services Division. Thank you to the applicant for being here today, and to staff and the chair for considering this zoning bylaw amendment application to allow for the construction of a roof truss manufacturing facility as an on-farm diversified use, so AFDU, being presented and received for approval. I would like to note that notice for this application was originally given to each landowner, agencies, and departments in accordance with matters of the Planning Act. This is the second circulation and appearance at PAC for this application, the first being August 7th, 2024, under report number Plan 2024-050. The subject lands are located at 1023 Kings Wharf Road in Emily, and they are known legally as part of Lot 18, Concession 14, in the former Township of Emily, now the City of Kawartha Lakes. The subject lands encompass a total area of approximately 3.5 hectares, or 96 acres, with approximately 530 meters, or 1,730 feet of frontage on Kings Wharf Road, and approximately 690 meters or 2,263 feet on Settlement Road. Existing uses include an existing residential dwelling, a metal shed, a metal garage, 2 frame sheds for storage, a frame barn, and agricultural fields. Surrounding uses include to the north, agricultural, to the east, Settlement Road and agricultural uses beyond, to the south, Kings Wharf Road and agricultural uses beyond, and to the west, rural residential and agricultural uses. The subject lands are zoned agricultural A1 on Schedule A of the Township of Emily Zoning Bylaw 1996-30 and designated rural and environmental protection in Schedule A3 of the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan. The applicant is proposing to rezone the entirety of the subject lands to facilitate a roof truss manufacturing business on the subject lands as an on-farm diversified use, as previously mentioned, OFDU from agricultural A1 to agricultural exception 42 as shown as A1-42 on the schedule on screen. Roof trusses will be manufactured for agricultural buildings, among other uses. The new building will be 735 meters squared or 7,920 square feet and located northeast of the existing dwelling. In addition to the building, the OFDU will include an extension to the driveway, a proposed parking area, and a new septic system. Section 2.5 of the PBS calls for supporting healthy and viable rural areas by protecting rural character and diversifying the economy. Under Policy 2.6.1, on-farm diversified uses are permitted, and the PPS defines them as secondary to the principal agricultural use, limited in scale, and supportive of the farm operation. The proposed roof truss business fits this definition because it will use an unused portion of the farm without taking away from agricultural production, and the trusses themselves are designed specifically for agricultural buildings. In this way, the activity is tied directly to farming, provides a value-add service to the agricultural community, and contributes to the broader rural economy while respecting the property's primary use. Consistent with policies 2.6.2 and 2.6.4, the business is compatible with the rural landscape, can be sustained by rural service levels, and promotes a diversified rural economy while protecting agricultural uses. This application is needed to permit the OFDU as they are not permitted in the agricultural A1 zone. The amendment will include OFDU as a permitted use with conditions under a new agricultural exception zone as mentioned. In terms of policy conformity, the zoning bylaw amendment is supported in the Provincial Planning Statement 2024 and the City of Kawartha Lakes official plan. As part of the review, relevant departments and agencies were circulated on the application and as noted in the report with applicable comments having been addressed. Planning staff are therefore of the opinion that the zoning bylaw amendment is appropriate. Accordingly, staff respectfully recommend that the zoning bylaw amendment respecting application D06-2024-014 in the form attached in Appendix D to Report Plan 2025-043 be approved. Staff and the applicant are here to assist in any questions anyone may have at this time. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Committee, any questions? Councillor Warren?
Through you, Mr. Chair, and just wondering if the issues that the neighbors brought up have been addressed, and I can't see what they were, but I remember it was quite contentious at the time.
Through you, Chair, sorry, I was thinking I was muted there. The issues have been addressed. They were mostly in regards to traffic, and the traffic impact study was reviewed by a peer reviewer and modified prior to this second circulation.
Any further questions? All right, seeing none. Councillor Ashmore?
No, I just wanted to move it if I could. If there's any more questions, I'd be willing to move it.
Okay, Councillor Ashmore is moving that Report Plan 2025-043, application to amend the Township of Emily Zoning Bylaw 1996-30 at 1023 Kings Wharf Road, Bobcaygeon, Martin be received, that a zoning bylaw amendment respecting application D06-2024-014 substantially in the form attached as Appendix D to Report Plan 2025-043 be approved and adopted by council, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the documents required by the approval of this application. Seconder, Mayor Elmsley. Any discussion? Calling the question. All in favor? And that carries. Thank you. And at this point, we would be looking for a motion to adjourn. Member O'Reilly, seconded by Councillor Richardson. All in favor? That carries. Thank you very much, everyone.